All right. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to some musings and welcome to the Joker Tower. So I decided to split off these musings into a new series. And for those that are just joining us, I like to play Minecraft and talk about things going on, projects, concerns, thoughts, musing, general like thinking or pondering or philosophizing about things. My name is A-Rye or Alex, and yeah, here we are. And this is the Joker's Tower. It looks so cool. We're going to go ahead and go to sleep to kind of, yeah, we're going to take one of these beds. Just to kind of reset that cycle and, oh, he's not mad. He's not happy. So, it's okay. They're computer entities without souls or thinking. So, but anyways, musings. We're about to start into a whole chapter. And the reason why I wanted to split this off to make it, well, one, because it's easier to consume. Like, you watch the two taboos, you find out, okay, so this is what, at least as far as I'm concerned, this is what Alex's concerns and observations are, just like what the problems are. My main concerns are religion and politics, and I feel like that's most everybody's, not necessarily because they agree or disagree with the actual thing in question, but oh geez, more spam. But anyways, I feel like generally everybody is concerned with the results of either religion or politics in some form or another, because it affects all of our lives. So, I have the two taboos, and that's what that whole playlist is talking about: religion and politics, why they're issues, and yeah. And then there's the new era. Also, I do this just to get news shops coming in. Yes, it's barbaric, but again, these are computer entities. I'm not doing it to be intentionally cruel. It's just accidentally. No, I'm kidding. Thinking about Batman, where he's like, "We didn't want to intentionally waste your time." No, just accidentally wasting it. And so, what else can we get rid of out of here? We don't need meat in here. Sometimes I just dump stuff in these boxes, just because, like, yeah, like cheese. That's not really relevant. This is meant to be like dyes, and then yeah, I have leads and that in here just because I tend to get them from the Wandering Trader, but like that. So, but we don't need beef, and the only reason I have so much beef is because I get so much hide for books, and all that, etc. We have a lot of beef. Anyways, so now the Joker Tower. So what's the deal with the Joker Tower? Well, basically, it was kind of like the new era. I was trying to be like, okay, draw a line in the sand. Now I will focus on. So that's good. We figured out what, the problems are. How do we solve it? And it's really never as simple as like figure out the problem and then solve it. Here, take some cheese or pumpkin pie. Doesn't eat pumpkin pie. Interesting. Okay, well, we'll just leave it here. So, but anyways, I wanted to make a more definitive. It's a constant cycle of assess the problems, then assess the solutions, impose some solutions, repeat, assess the problem, assess the results of, okay, how did the solution, and it's probably not, most likely not, a real solution. It's just solving partially solving the problem, solving part of the problem, stuff like that. Or maybe it's solving a problem but creating other problems. That's a very common thing. So then you're like, okay, now I gotta fix this. So, and yeah, so actually here you can see I'm stockpiling books, and yeah, I have some lecterns, and how I usually do it is I'll put up a lectern. In fact, we'll go ahead and, put one up here. Must be like the Joker's Tower. Like, okay, what is this? So if I ever were to release this map to the world, which I kind of plan on doing anyway for the worlds that survive. Ha, there's a sheep osmosis. But anyways, I lost one of my worlds. I had a bunch of these lecterns everywhere, and I had all these like problems, solutions, my history, my job history, my, like career advice, all sorts of stuff. And that whole temple is gone. And it actually looked a lot like this temple thing that I'm building. Then I built the giant bridge to connect over there. And there, yes, that is a ski lift or a chair lift, similar to the ones that you would find at a ski resort, which I worked at for 3 seasons and spent a lot of time up there. I haven't been snowboarding for quite a while, but yeah. Anyways, let's see. Do we have a, I don't have a cart. So I'll go ahead and show you while we're continuing to explain what's this guy doing? What's he talking about? Why is he making these videos? Also, got to finish a lot of emerald blocks. Like it's several stacks. Like you wouldn't think it'd be that much, or at least I wouldn't think it'd be that much. But even just this is easily like 2 or 3 full stacks of blocks. Well, actually, we could figure out exactly how many. So if we look at the coordinates, we're going up to almost 300. Yeah, so we will randomly do stuff like this. Sorry. Apologies, but I don't really care. I know. I'm just kidding. Anyways, 296. I think this is about where it is. It's either 296, 295, 296. Okay. So remember that. 296. Okay. We're at 1 stack there. Because it's a 64 in a stack. Oh, and it also curves too. So, but just for this straight line, getting close to 2 stacks. Okay, 173. So that's 100 and what? 23? 123. 2 stacks is 128. All right, so almost 2 complete stacks, just for the straight line. And then, oh, sorry, I gotta address this. So someone. And now, so for hackers trying to be like, oh, do we have his phone number? Like, I got a text earlier. I won't say what time. So then people watching this, like, and they do, like, people trying to do malicious behavior. Like, I worry about some of the stuff that I've shared online and stuff like that. But this one, it's a spam, and they're trying to get a response. So what I'm doing is reporting the spammer. Okay. Anyways, and then someone, a cybersecurity trained professional or a cybersecurity professional that works for the company. This is actually Google. Google took over messaging for Android phones. Like you can no longer do the Message Plus app was what it used to be, and now it's all Google Messages, which is great. It's scary, but at the same time, it's great because that makes it easier for them to stamp out potential spammers. Yeah, let's take the chairlift. See, this is going back down, which you're never really supposed to do. You're supposed to ski going there, but this is pretty fun too. I'm like, woo! And then it kicks you out right here. Boom. No, you took my chair. Bye. Also, we have a roller coaster going here. So there's this. And we will get into all sorts of musing, philosophizing, problem solving, problem discovery. That's another thing, because it's not just about like thinking, all right, it would be great if we did this, or it would be great if we did that. Did it land? No. There we go. And I even made it to where if it glitches and there's a lot of people in there, I think there's at least like 2 villagers. And then watch, it'll go up here. Whee! It catches air, lands on there. And it goes up. It actually goes up the side of a cliff face, but then it comes back down this way. That way. And then this is actually where the other thing joins. Oh wait, we're about to miss the big air. Oh, we just did. We missed it. And that's where it gets stuck as this chunk loads in and like fades out of the active chunk spot, however you want to describe that. But yeah. So there's that. But anyways. Yes, politics, religion, and spam. So I usually don't get text messages in general. Like it's very rare that I get a text message. And when I do, it's almost always spam or it's an emergency. It's like something important. So I generally tend to check it. I'm always keeping a passive eye on my phone and devices too. I have several mobile devices, but because even before I was officially trained as a cybersecurity professional and signed a white hat manifesto, thus making me a white hat, well, I mean, that alone doesn't make you a white hat. That's great. That's good intentions. Like, because it says something to the tune of, I will use my powers only for good, never for evil. And we did. We learned how to hack. Very basic. Like, I mean, the very intense hacking, the stuff that actually still works today, for the most part. Still, I mean, bad security allows just about any hack to be quote unquote successful. But it depends. Most of the time, it's really not that successful. It's a bunch of nothing. But I mean, there is still some, and people get scammed, and if they don't report it, then their bank sometimes might keep them liable. But again, like often now, banks understand that it's not your fault that somebody hacked. I mean, partially, yeah, but like it's so hard to keep up. So there's a certain leeway or forgiveness of, okay, that's fine. We won't fault you this. So it's really not as dangerous as it used to be. It's still annoying, it still causes problems, but now like they're going after the people doing it as they should. You know, they're basically thieves, international thieves. So. And I do aspire to hunt a lot of that, but it can't just be hunting people like that. And that's why we've been getting wrong for a long time. Not necessarily completely wrong, but just the idea that we need to focus on catching and punishing the people, and that'll stop the behavior. When in reality, you need to deter the behavior from happening in the first place. I mean, you know, it's a lot more tangible nowadays with all of our advancements in technology and communication and cohesion as a society. Like we're able to shift, share ideas, sometimes too quickly, and the lie always travels, you know, faster than the truth. Um, but we're fixing that. We're getting better, and that is a bipartisan thing. And I know I speak a lot of like pro-democratic things, anti-republican things, or more so anti-MAGA. I mean, Republican, yeah. But my main concerns are actually pretty bipartisan. So, anyways, we will talk about all of those things. And we most likely have talked about most of these things already. And yes, I am talking to myself, but I will say we a lot because we're all in this together. Um, yeah. So that's the Joker Tower. All right. See you in the next one. No. But no, so basically, religion, politics, and just they're both forms of control or some way of trying to control other people, whether it's for the benefit of the person doing it or well, most of the time it's just the benefit. People don't do things, you know, just to do things. Like our brains, the way it works is we're driven by certain factors, impulses, like things send brainwaves like signals saying, you know, everything from I'm hungry to you need to use the bathroom to, you know, oh, look out, someone's trying to kill me or oh, this situation is potentially the end of me. Like these are all things that our brain sends signals about and intercepts like and understands. And, you know, in fractions of a second, we'll get these impulses sent electronically, like with electricity. So yeah, that's an interesting thing. We're basically fleshy robots. But anyways. Maybe that's what we are. Fleshy robots put on Earth by the alien species to figure out how thinking works or how computers work or how anything without giving us anything. And then from mud and bricks and rock to, or no, from mud and rocks and all this and electricity, we've discovered how to make magical machines that analyze, you know, thousands or millions of like pieces of information every second in order to orchestrate massive undertaking. That's why I love it. So I'm a computer scientist too. Yes, mostly self-proclaimed, but I do have a bachelor's of science in applied computing technology. So that's more of the technical side. I'd say about 75% was like algorithms and theory, and then 25% was actually, or no, 75% was like computer stuff, and then 25% was business and how it fits in. So like understanding finances and budgets and all that stuff because there was for too long, at least my understanding was like, or my theory, my hypothesis was, is for too long people spent a lot of money on computer programmers because it took a lot of training, a lot of practice, and a lot of work. And it does. I mean, I've spent many, many, many hours and days on end, like not straight, but like pretty much working on projects and obsessing over things and trying to get it to not crash and banging my head against the wall. My favorite is the undie run. So and I went to Colorado State University, go Rams. But one of the things, I was wondering if I could just, this takes a while. I mean, we're already dedicated now, we're like halfway there, 2/3. Oh. Oh, shoot. Whoops. Well, I mean, we could, go. Now the people are really paying attention. Okay. Anyways. So, and I'll lose track of what I'm doing a lot. There would be a lot of repetition, but basically, so computer science training, cybersecurity training, applied computing technology, served as treasurer for the ACM, the Association for Computing Machinery. So I have a little bit of experience, very limited. I mean, I wouldn't really brag too much about it. I'm not trying to brag about any of this, just explaining why I do all these things. I mean, mainly it's a journal. Like these are digital journals, so I can look back and be like, here we go. And other people can be doing this or concurrently, and that's kind of like a law enforcement and like criminal justice term. So concurrent or consecutive, when people get charged with crimes, often it's either one of those two. I mean, it has to be one of those two. Like you get so many things like, okay, you're going to have this punishment and this punishment, but you can run them concurrently. Just know that you're getting punished for this and punished for that. Because otherwise, it would just start stacking up so ridiculously that we already have a problem with people spending most of their life in prison for things that, while yes, we want to stop the behavior and prevent stuff like that from happening, and this ties back to what I was saying earlier, spaghetti thinking, preventative blue teaming or preventative crime solving, preventative problem solving in regards to crime, specifically with digital crime, but it's all the same. It's all shortcuts taken against other people for different reasons. Most of the time it's justified in the person's mind that it's not that big of a deal. Like, or they don't understand the full macro level scope of what their actions do. Like they don't see. I mean, we have stuff like the Christmas Carol. We're getting closer. We're around Thanksgiving now, but we're going to be at Christmas before you know it. And it's and the whole Christmas Carol idea is Ebenezer Scrooge gets visited by three spirits to show him that his actions have consequences. Not necessarily that, hey, you're a crotchety, mean old businessman and you're evil. Like that's what people think, and it's human nature to think that too. We get defensive. Hold on. Sorry, that's me. Throat gets dry talking for so long. But anyways, water basically. If you didn't understand that. But no, Mr. Scrooge. So, and that's a problem, is because the way that we communicate problems and solutions usually is, hey, you're a bad guy, don't do that. And like same with cops and robbers. Like, we beat people up and put them in jail and like, just for doing things, and then the court decides it and everybody thinks that this is all good, when in reality a bunch of accidental evil happens on all sides for all people involved. That's why we need criminal justice reform. Now, I say preventative because we still need to be focusing on ways to prevent the crime and the undesired behaviors from happening in the first place. So it's a non-issue, or I think that's what that nothing ventured, nothing lost thing is like no harm, no foul. Like we weren't really risking anything with this, so it's fine if it doesn't go through. Like, no big deal. I say a non-issue because when you're problem solving and you're worrying about things, and then it's like, oh wait, but what about this? And then you're like, oh no, this doesn't matter. It's a non-issue, or it's not an issue basically. And here's why. So that's just kind of logic and think, oh no. Sometimes we'll get that. So, but anyways, a preventative. So especially with cybersecurity, the biggest way to prevent cybercrime is to let people know that you can see them. That's a very big deterrent because it adds to that friction of their decision making. Like, oh, if I can maybe get some money from this person, and yes, it is a bad thing to do. They don't pretend that it's not a bad thing to do, but they rationalize it like, oh, it's a rich American, whatever. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, or they're evil because they do this. They blow up and kill so many people. When in reality, the person you're scamming has no influence on any of that. We're sitting there watching the same TV and internet stuff that you are. And it's like, man, we're killing a lot of people. What do we do? Well, let's get angry and let's vote. And then, but you're still voting for the same people. Both sides are going to do the same killing and bombing. So then it's like, what do you do? And if that sounds disingenuous, it's not. It's just, I've lived my entire life, like, well, as much as I've known how much we kill people abroad, like, I felt very guilty for the first bit of it. But now it's like, I'll try to fix it, but there's really not a lot that I personally can do. In fact, it was by chance that I wasn't a soldier myself, and no disrespect to the soldiers that do. If anything, I'm more concerned about them because of the horrors of killing people and the things that they're forced to do because it's their job and their duty too. Like, I mean, let's not pretend that, to be a true patriot, you need to take pride in your country and you need to be willing to put a lot of things on the line for that country. At the same time, you got to hope that your leaders are not, willy-nilly throwing your lives away. And that's also bipartisan. Like, it's a Republican and a Democratic thing to do, is to be very pro-military, because there's so many businesses that's our industry is weapons of death or tools of death. which is bad. So, anyways, understatement of the year. But how do we fix it? Well, cybercrime, just focusing on one and really nailing that down. So cybercrime, somebody's trying to steal from you, trying to scam you. One that I almost fell for was I won the lottery and I want to share it with you, but in order to do that, I need you to send me some money. Whenever it's someone asking you to send money first, no matter how much they promise or what they say is going to happen, you got to analyze what's going on. Wait, I'm sending this person money, and then supposedly they say that, so already like there's a lot of warning flags right there. They're saying it, so who's saying it? Well, they're promising it. How much do I trust this person? Well, I just met this person, but they're a lottery winner. So my specific example was I was on X app. I think this was back when it was Twitter. Not that it matters a whole lot, but so like spammers. And so this person followed me. I followed them because I was like, woo, trying to build my followers, and get those points, get those like thousands of people or whatever, for whatever it's worth. Which turns out not a whole lot. I mean, my message of social engineering in a positive way is still being traveled a lot more than it would be, and I pay for the service too. I got my blue check mark, but the reason I'm doing it is a lot different than a lot of other people. Everybody wants to be seen and heard. It's just natural human psychology, but which is a big reason why I do this. I mean, I kind of try to watch that ego. So I do like to hear myself talk. I watch these things. I'm like, ooh, that was a good. Oh, that wasn't so good. And then I'll try to remember that, as is everybody. But anyways, so the lottery winner, they followed me. I followed them. I was like, okay, mutual followers. That's cool. But then they can direct message you. And they send me a direct message saying, hey, I'm so-and-so. See my name? Like, I'm so-and-so. They didn't say that, but I looked. I was like, oh, so-and-so says they're so-and-so. And that's what their name says. So, okay. So there's a couple of things that tend to make you want to believe that, oh, because why would they lie about that? I won the lottery, and then they have a YouTube video, often in their profile, or I think this one even might have sent it to me, and I followed it, watched the YouTube video of the lottery person winning the lottery. It's like, oh, okay, cool. So this person did, in fact, maybe not this person I'm talking to, but the person with that name that lives in that city, in that state, won that lottery and has that much money. Okay, cool. And you're thinking the whole time, it's like, wow, someone's saying, hey, I want to give you some money. I want to give back to the world. And I picked you. And they could say whatever. I picked you at random, or you won, my little lottery where I was like picking random people, or I really like your profile. You post some interesting things. And they could even look at your profile for very little effort on their end and be like, hey, I like this, this, and this. And so I picked you to give you some money. And it's like, okay, now you're talking. This is sounding real, like legitimate, and it's so hard to check that until you start seeing other red flags. So anyway, I went with it. I even gave them my phone number, and they were texting me, and I was like, okay. And that might be why I get so much spam, because I really mess with them. And I'll tell you why here in a sec. Do we have time? Yeah, we got 8 minutes, 7 minutes. But anyways, so they're... So they said all that, and then they sent me a picture of supposedly a FedEx driver, someone that works for FedEx that delivers packages like this, that would deliver a box of money to me. Okay, so that sounds suspicious too. Why wouldn't you just wire it? If it's legitimate, like, you could just send it to me electronically. We have digital banking now. So I was a little worried about that, a little concerned, but I was like, whatever. I mean, I'm like 80% thinking this is a scam, but that 20%, I like those odds. Like, there's a chance. And that's a made up figure in my own mind. That's just about how like comfortable I felt with it. I was like, this is most likely a scam. So just don't give anything too crazy. Like, I mean, my phone number, yeah, okay, you got my phone number. We used to mess with people and put phone numbers in bathroom stalls back in the day. Not me, but I'm just kidding. Anyways, so you got to expect that there's going to be a certain level of fraud trying to get at you at your phone. We're used to this. This ain't our first rodeo. So I'm talking Americans. So anyways, there's that. And so then he's sending me pictures of a FedEx driver, and the guy's ID, a FedEx ID. I guess they must have paid somebody to send a picture of it or something. I don't know. Or someone grabbed an idea of some FedEx drivers. Whatever happened. It's weird. But this builds confidence in the mark, or the victim in this fraud case. Thankfully, I didn't get too much gone. So anyways, so I start to suspect something when they're wanting me to send money, to send me money. It's just weird. Like, why bother? This is a horrible way to do this. Fix it. Like, or please don't. You'd think that somebody would say something. But then again, they're giving you money. So if it was real, most people would be like, oh, okay, thank you for the money. Thank you for doing this. They'd still give advice and pointers, be like, you might try this in the future. So anyways, back to the scam. So he does that, or this person does that, and then they're wanting me to send gift cards. So I'm like, okay, well, that's really weird. Something like online digital, yet you can't do online digital. So you want me to send something that's instant for you, but you can't do it for me. So right there's another red flag. And so then I start saying, well, no, let me send you a check. What's your address? So I'm trying to get information on them. And, and I'm recording all of this. It's all in my text messages. So there is a record of all of it, which is the best part at the end. Or not the best part, but a pretty good one. So anyways, so we start talking about that. And he just won't give me his address. He won't tell me where he's at. He's just, no, why? I mean, and he could have lied and said, oh, my address is here. So I was like, okay, well, I'll send it to the people that won the lottery. And then they'd get a check from some random person for like, what was it, like $50 or something. And so they don't want to do that because they don't get the money. And so now I'm definitely like 100% certain this is a scam. These people need to be dealt with. So, ooh, what is this? So like an underground portal? Oh, okay, it's the bottom of that there. Anyways, so I say, well, do you accept beans? And then I sent them a picture of if you search crazy beans or beans crazy in most social media like Facebook, this was X or Twitter, whatever, and like that was in there, and it was just in my phone app, which is no longer that anyway, but it was a GIF graphics interchange format, and it had a little boy with a hat, and he's eating a spoonful of beans, and it zooms in on him, and as it gets really close, his eye holes, or where his eyes should be, turn into a bunch of beans moving, and same with his mouth. Like, it goes really nuts. It's very disturbing. So I sent this to the person. I was like, first I said, do you accept beans? And they're like, what? And I was like, yes, beans. And I sent that. And I was like, ah. And so they're like, oh my gosh. And the guy said, you day crazy, DEY. So it sounded like someone from India or something. And this was back before I actually traveled to India. Now I feel a little guilty about it. But at the time, no, I was like, screw this guy. Like, I mean, this guy deserves what's coming to him, or gal, whatever. I don't discriminate. They both need to be punished. They both need to be taught a lesson. So then I start sending a bunch of pictures of beef and steak and cows getting cut up. Which is very easy to find because we eat a lot of beef in this country. Now, this also, I understand in hindsight, it wasn't as offensive as I thought it would be, because like, ooh, look at this, I'm killing cows. But they don't think about it that way. It's not like showing a picture of Muhammad is offensive to most Muslims, or at least used to be. I had a pretty good conversation with someone the other day about how that's not really the case. Like, as long as you're not intending like disrespect, like in the way that they think, it's misunderstood disrespect basically at that point. But anyways, because it used to be if you showed an image of Muhammad, they would come and like kill you, like they would attack you and everything, and it was very dangerous. And and then people like the creators of South Park and stuff like that were making fun of him, but being still very careful. Like they even censored out the image of Muhammad, but and then they did, but they made Muhammad one of the superheroes just like all the others. And when people started seeing that, I like to think a lot of them are like, oh, well, that's not as offensive as I thought it was. I thought they were saying like Muhammad is a false prophet or something, and that would be offensive. Or saying Jesus is a false prophet, like that would be offensive. Or like saying Jesus wasn't really a god. So that's Arianistic, the other Arian, like the better Arian, or the good Arian. Sorry, the other one's horrible and bad, should have never happened. Although I saw something on XF which was weird. Well, anyways, we'll get to that in a sec. But so I'm sending him pictures of dead cows, bloody meat, and all this stuff being cut up. And then he spams out like blah, 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 like he spammed the keyboard, and then I didn't hear from him again. I was like, you there, friend? And stuff like that. Like I was like taunting him, I think, a little. I don't remember the last part, but I definitely remember sending the beef things for sure. Sorry, I got to fact check myself in real time, because the fish gets this big, and you can't see me, but I'm holding my hands out. It's a big fish. So, anyways, jeez, someone fell from the roof. But anyways, so that was a lesson taught to that person. Now, whether they're mad at the cows, mad that they realized that they weren't going to get any money, or mad that they realized they spent all this time with me, and I'm on some kind of spectrum, I feel like, because I just like naively like wasted a lot of their days, and multiple days. This is a multi-day scam that failed. And so that person wasted so much time and effort. And then I still reported it all to my phone carrier anyway, using the spam filter or spam reporter they had. So, and then whoever I reported it to got a record of all what was said back and forth. And so they got to see how a scam worked. And I would like to see the security professional on the other end looking at that. Hopefully it was received, maybe not, I don't know. But if someone did see that and they were trained similar to what I was trained in, be like, oh, because that was the main thing about this boot camp I did, was to how to prevent people hacking your business or company or yourself, but like mainly for a job. Like if you're hired as a cybersecurity professional, your biggest duty is to look at logs and see who's doing what where and make sure the big bad stuff doesn't happen, like ransomware and all that, or no actual money is lost. Like information, yeah, that's annoying, a concern, and it could be costly, but really you're mostly concerned about the gold, the jewels or whatever, like what you're protecting at that company, the information. If it's proprietary information, that's valuable too. Like, and people's personal information, because then you can get sued, and it's not just that, but it's bad for the person too, and it's morally wrong to be allowing other people's information to be leaked. But you're also targeting the people doing stuff with it and making sure that they get punished for doing stuff with it. So, anyways, the moral of the story is no, I'm just kidding. So that's the Joker's Tower. I'm A-Rye, and this playlist we are going to document a lot of the ramblings that I've been doing. So it's going to be a lot of review, but if you've watched the Two Taboos and the New Era, then you already know a lot of what's going on. But there's going to be some new stuff too, current things like, oh, wait, before I leave, I'll leave you with this. So immigrants killing Americans, that's a very big concern. And I admit, it's a big concern for me too. I'm not saying, and it's not painful to admit or anything. It's more like it needs to be said, but it often feels like it doesn't need to be said because I'm concerned about anybody being attacked, hurt, killed, or anything. It's all bad. Crime is bad. Like, this is basic stuff. But because of straw man fallacies, if you are pro-immigration reform, but like pro-sympathy for people trying to seek asylum, and the majority, we're talking like, what was it, 1.9 million people in this country, in this new law that normally wouldn't if Trump was president. Like, and then out of that 1.9 million, there's, I think, like 30 to 50 people that were killed, either directly murdered or accidentally killed in car accidents. So that's the other thing. They're muddying up the waters there because they're adding car accidents, which has been used in anti-cannabis and anti-marijuana stuff, is they'll bring in car accidents because of it. Now, it wasn't the drug that killed the person, it was the car accident. Same with, like, I mean, still, if the immigrant wasn't here, or the asylum seeker, or whatever, the non-citizen, because they don't have citizenship, but they're definitely documented if they're here on any of those programs. So that's the other fallacy. But, so about 30 to 50, I think I've seen pictures of it. And it is a horrible travesty. It should be zero. One military-looking person I was debating with said, yeah, it should be zero. And I was like, I agree, but there's better ways to go about it. And where's your outrage for this? So I found an interesting fact on a government website for statistics and health that about 26,000 Americans die every year from lack of health insurance. Like preventable measures or preventable deaths that would have been prevented if they just saw their doctor regularly. So inadequate health insurance or no health insurance directly caused death. Like, or even just confusing health insurance. Well, not directly, indirectly. Sorry, let me get that right. Indirectly caused the death of somebody that if they had money or time or not stress distracting them, or if they had the ability to focus on going to the doctor as much as they needed and getting the help that they needed, then let's take this up. I wanted to show the other way. Then that guy took it. Anyways, because this also lets you out once you're up, just like a chairlift. And then you're supposed to get off and go skiing there. Oh, there we go. So, but anyways, 26,000 Americans die every single year because of this issue. So I've just been posting that government website, and you can tell because it ends in .gov, and they're very strict about that. They do web scrapers that look for anyone trying to scam that or do that or whatever. But anyways, so it's a real fact from the government saying, hey, this is how many people die and could be alive. So you're 30 to 50, while tragic, mathematically and statistically, it doesn't hold a candle to 26,000 deaths. 26,000. That's the size of a city. Like some cities or some towns. Like my hometown was about 2 to 5,000, I think. So that's about 5 BVs, 5 Buena Vista. I'm originally from the mountains. That's 5 of my hometowns dead every year. And you're going to be mad about a few brown people killing these people? Yes, it's horrible, but where's your outrage? And I do that with religion too, because like the times in the Bible they say don't charge interest on loans. It's about 4 or 5 times to where they don't say, or they say don't be gay. So they're more concerned statistically about charging interest on loans, which we do like it's going out of style, than people being gay. There you go. So if God came back, if God existed in the first place, let's be clear about all that. Skeptical Christian. Anyways, then what would God, he or she, be concerned about? Anyways, that's my time. We went way over. Welcome to the Joker Tower. It's beautiful, I think. We're not overly prideful. It could be better. Just kidding. And it's all just so I can think. I mean, this is like my fidget. So I fidget with this and build things and make things and do things and then talk about things, try to solve problems and all that good stuff. So, and welcome to join. All right, ta-ta for now. I'll see you in the next one.